Imagine you were the star of your school. Loved, talented, everyone saw a bright future for you. And suddenly, everything falls apart because of one single decision. If you want to know our hero's story, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and watch till the end. Let's get started. At the beginning of the story, we see a classroom where a boy named Jim is being severely beaten by his teacher. Just then, the bell rings, marking the end of the period and saving him from further punishment. After class, Jim walks out with his three best friends, Pedro, Mickey, and Neutron. The four of them are troublemakers. They smoke, cause chaos wherever they go, and act recklessly without thinking about the consequences. Sometimes they even pour thinner on a piece of cloth and inhale it to get high. However, Jim stands out for one special talent. He's an exceptional basketball player. During a school match against another team, he performs brilliantly and leads his school to victory. But while the game is going on, one of his friends sneaks into the locker room and steals all the money, watches, and valuables belonging to the opposing players. Later, when the four of them are sitting at a restaurant, the opposing team shows up and demands they step outside. The players accuse him of stealing and insist they return the stolen items quietly. Jim and his friends deny everything, which quickly escalates into a violent fight between the two groups. In the end, Jim and his friends manage to beat them up and run away. That night, while they're hanging out, a girl approaches them. She's clearly high on drugs and begs him for $50, offering herself in exchange because she needs money to buy more drugs. Jim mocks her cruelly and sends her away. Later, Jim visits a hospital where he meets Bobby, someone he has known since he was 3 years old. Bobby used to be the best basketball player on their team, but 2 years ago, he was diagnosed with leukemia. Jim believes Bobby will fight through it and survive. He truly wishes that from the bottom of his heart, because Bobby is the closest friend he has in the world. Trying to cheer him up, Jim takes Bobby out to a strip show where women perform by taking off their clothes. But Bobby doesn't enjoy it. Feeling guilty, Jim takes him back to the hospital and quietly apologizes, promising that next time things would be different. But the look in Bobby's eyes says it all. There won't be a next time. Apart from basketball, there's another passion in Jim's life: writing. Whenever he has a thought or a free moment, he jots it down in his notebook. Still, Jim spends most of his time with his three friends, chasing pleasure and thrills. They even visit prostitutes. One of them gives Jim addictive stuff, which he takes, and after sleeping with her, he writes about the experience in his notebook too. A few days later, Bobby passes away. When Jim goes to see him, he is shocked. Bobby's body has become skeletal. His young friend now looks like he's 60. The loss shatters Jim completely. One night, after watching a movie with his friends, Jim realizes he can't even remember what happened in it. The scenes, the story, all of it feels like a blur. While Bobby's death doesn't seem to affect his friends at all, Jim is consumed by grief. Seeking escape, he goes to a basement where people are injecting drugs. Though he's always been terrified of needles, he takes one for the first time in his life. The moment the drug enters his veins, all his pain vanishes. He feels like he's running through fields of flowers, surrounded by beauty and peace. When Jim returns home, his mother immediately notices his condition and feels deeply hurt. She works at a hospital and tries to understand what's happening to her son, but Jim lashes out at her, saying she doesn't know anything. Jim and his friends fall completely into addiction, their money running out fast. One night, desperate for cash, they rob an old woman on a dark street, even hitting her before escaping with her purse. The next day at the school's church service, Jim refuses to confess. When the priest says maybe he's the one who needs it most, Jim steps inside but can't bring himself to speak. He wants to quit drugs but can't, because while people may want to stop, the drugs never let them go. Later, Jim is caught using in the restroom by his coach, who disgustingly offers him money for sexual favors. Jim punches him and takes hush money to keep silent. But now the coach knows Jim's secret. At their next basketball game, Jim and his friends take more drugs. Only Neutron stays clean. They play horribly and lose. Afterward, the priest and police arrive to investigate, but the boys have already used everything. The coach suspends Jim and bans him from the team. Furious, Jim declares he's quitting anyway and walks out for good. Jim and his friends drop out while Neutron stays in school. When Jim's mother learns the truth, he denies everything, blaming others. She sees through his lies, and when his anger explodes, she orders him out. As he leaves, she throws his basketball trophy after him, the last symbol of his dream. Homeless and addicted, Jim and his friends turn to crime for survival, stealing cars and robbing stores. Their world shrinks to nothing but drugs and desperation, until the boys they once were are completely gone. Pedro gets so high that he starts hallucinating, thinking he's in an ice cream parlor. Jim and Mickey try to help him, but he's uncontrollable, so they leave them and the police arrest them. Later, at a bar, Jim and Mickey see their old friend Neutron on TV, now chosen for the All-American High School Games, proudly greeting his mom. It was once their dream too, and watching him fills them with regret. Jim wanders near his house and silently watches his mother carry groceries inside, too ashamed to speak to her. He turns back toward his drug spot, where a man attacks him for giving his girlfriend a nearly fatal dose. When Jim denies fault, the man demands $20, threatening violence. Jim's mind collapses into hallucinations, visions of basketball, gunfire, and flames. In reality, he's lying half dead in the snow. Then Reggie, an old basketball friend, finds him and takes him home. When he wakes up, his drugs are gone. Reggie refuses to return them and flushes them down the toilet, saying, "Someone once helped me, now it's my turn." Jim begs and rages, but Reggie keeps him locked in until he calms down. Before leaving for work, Reggie says, "When you write your book, mention my name." Suffering from withdrawal, Jim searches for money and visits Diane, a girl he once mocked for begging for drugs. Now he's the one begging. She throws money on the ground and Jim, humiliated, picks it up. Still short on cash, he sells himself to an old man just to get more. He meets Mickey and they buy drugs from a dealer only to find they're fake. They chase him to a rooftop, and as Mickey grabs him, the dealer slips and falls 6 stories to his death. Panicked, Mickey runs, is beaten by a gang, and arrested. Jim, alone again, goes home begging his mother for $20. She refuses, knowing it's for drugs, and calls the police, believing prison might save him. As they take him away, Jim swears he'll change, but it's too late. He's sentenced to 6 months in jail, where he finishes writing his diary. After his release, he prepares to read his story on stage. Outside, he meets Pedro, who offers him drugs, but Jim refuses and tells him to take care. On stage, Jim reads the Basketball Diaries to a cheering crowd. He completed it at 17, later publishing poetry, recording albums, and working as a writer and performer in New York until his death on September 11th, 2009.
And that's the end of the video. If the story touched you, even for a moment, don't forget to support us with a like and a simple comment. Your small support is what keeps us going and helps us bring you more stories.